Today's lesson is 4.4, Part 1, Equations of Horizontal and Vertical Lines. So if we recall, this is a review, horizontal lines have an equation of y equals. So it's always y equals a number. And they have a slope of 0. So we talked about how those are technically in slope-intercept form because they are technically written as y equals 0x plus whatever your y-intercept is, but 0 times x is just 0, and so we don't ever write the 0x, and so it ends up being, your equation ends up being just y equals whatever your y-intercept is, because 0x cancels out. And then we talked about vertical lines. Vertical lines have an equation of x equals because they do not have a y-intercept and they don't have a slope. They actually have an undefined slope. So if they don't have a slope and they don't have a y-intercept, they can't be written in slope-intercept form. And so that is why they are always x equals a number. So, horizontal lines. When you are given 1 point and a slope of 0. So if I give you an ordered pair or a point, and I tell you the slope is 0, the way we write our equation is it's just y equals the y value of your point. So if I give you a slope of 0 and the ordered pair 5, -8, because you have a slope of 0, that automatically means it's a horizontal line. And since it's a horizontal line, you know that this is always y equals, and then it's the y value of your ordered pair, so it would be y equals -8. If you are given 2 points, you should notice they have the same y value. So if I were to give you something like 1, 4 and -2, 4, we should notice that both y values are 4. And when this happens, when you find your slope, your change in y over change in x, my change in y would be 4 minus 4, and my change in x would be -2 minus 1. And so I get 0 over -3, which is 0. So I get a slope of 0. So when I get a slope of 0, my equation is always y equals the y value of my ordered pair. And notice both y values are 4. So it's y equals 4. Now, vertical lines. So vertical lines are a little bit different. Your vertical lines, you're going to be, if I give you 1 point in the slope, although your slope won't be 0, your slope will be undefined. So your notes actually say undefined. I just have a typo in my slide. So on a vertical line, you will be given a point and an undefined slope. So when that happens, for instance, maybe I tell you your slope is undefined, and I give you the ordered pair 5, -8. Since your slope is undefined, you know automatically that is a vertical line, and a vertical line does not have a slope and it does not have a y-intercept, so your equation is always x equals the x value of your ordered pair, which in this case is 5. So it'd be x equals 5. If you are given 2 points, you should really notice they have the same x value. So when your ordered pairs have the same x value, so let's say I give you 1, 8 and 1, 6. So when I go to find my slope, my change in y is going to be 6 minus 8 over 1 minus 1. So I get -2 over 0. Now we know we can't divide by 0, so that is going to be undefined. Automatically when I have an undefined slope, I know that I am going to have a vertical line, and my equation should always be x equals the x value of my ordered pairs. And notice both x values are 1, so my equation is x equals 1. So we're going to put this into practice. Write an equation of a line that passes through the given point and has the given slope. So I'm looking at my information. I've been given a slope of 0. So automatically, because I've been given a slope of 0, I know that this is a horizontal line automatically if it has a slope of 0. And if it has a slope of 0, that means I can write this in slope-intercept form, which means it is going to be y equals. So if I have a slope of 0, I know my equation is always going to be y equals the y value of my ordered pair. So my y value in my ordered pair happens to be 4. So my equation would be y equals 4. For example B, we are writing the equation of the line that passes through the given point and the slope. For this specific problem, it says we're going through the ordered pair 2, 3, and we have an undefined slope. Since we have an undefined slope, automatically I know my undefined slope means I have a vertical line. So my line's going to be vertical, and I know that vertical lines do not have a y-intercept and they do not have a slope. This means they cannot be written in slope-intercept form, so it is not y equals, it is going to be x equals. So when you have a vertical line, it is always x equals the x value of your ordered pair. Well, our x value of our ordered pair is 2, so my equation would be x equals 2. Letter C, example C, the same thing. We're going to look at our given information. I gave you the ordered pair 14, 18 and a slope of 0. Since you have a slope of 0, you automatically know that this is a horizontal line. And horizontal lines can be written in slope-intercept form because they do have a slope. They have a slope of 0. And they will have or they will cross the y-axis. And so we know then that our equation will always be y equals the y value of our ordered pair, and our y value is 18. So our equation is y equals 18. And last but not least, we have letter D. So for letter D, I'm giving you the ordered pair negative 25, 75, and we have a slope of 0. Again, a slope of 0 means we have a horizontal line, and horizontal lines do have a slope and they will cross the y-axis. And so I know that a horizontal line can be written in slope-intercept form, which means we have y equals. So I know my equation is going to be y equals the y value of my ordered pair, and my y value of my ordered pair is 75. So my equation is y equals 75. If you are given, for example, number 2, if you are given 2 ordered pairs, when you have 2 ordered pairs, the first thing we always want to do is calculate the slope. We need to determine whether this has a slope of 0 or an undefined slope. So if you notice, we're going to find change in y over change in x. That's not any different than what we've done before. So if I'm finding my change in y, the first thing I'm going to do is take my y values and subtract them. So I'm going to take 10 minus a negative 7. And 10 minus a negative 7 really means 10 plus 7. So I have 17. And then in the denominator, if I started with the 10, I have to start with the 5. And I have 5 minus 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. Recall when 0 is in the denominator, we cannot divide by 0, so this has an undefined slope. So automatically, if I have an undefined slope, I know that I have a vertical line, and a vertical line does not have a slope, and it will never cross the y-axis. So this is when I have x equals the x value of my ordered pair. Well, if I look at my ordered pairs, both x values happen to be the same, and so my equation is just x equals 5. For example B, we have two ordered pairs again. And so that means I do have to find my slope. I need to know if it's 0 or undefined. So we're going to find our change in y over our change in x. And our change in y, I'm going to start with the 13. So I have to take 13 minus 13. And 13 minus 13 is 0. And if I started with the second 13, I have to start with the matching x value, which is -4. And so I'm going to take -4 minus 2, which is -6. And 0 divided by any number is 0. So since I have a slope of 0, I automatically know that this is a horizontal line. A slope of 0 is a horizontal line. A horizontal line does have a slope, and it will cross the y-axis. So that means we can write an equation in slope-intercept form. So it's going to be y equals the y value of our ordered pair. And if you look at our ordered pairs, both y values are the same. So y is going to be equal to 13. And then we have letter C. So letter C, again, we have to determine, do we have a 0 slope or an undefined slope? So we're going to find our change in y over change in x. So my change in y is going to be a -18 minus a -18. And remember, minus and negative really means to add a positive. So -18 plus 18 will give me 0. And then in the denominator, I have to start with my 3. And I'm going to take 3 minus 1, which is 2. But I know that 0 divided by anything is going to give me 0. So I do have a slope. My slope is 0. That automatically makes this a horizontal line. And since I do have a slope, that means I also have a y-intercept, and my equation then can be written in slope-intercept form. So it'll be y equals whatever our y value is of our ordered pairs. And if I look at my ordered pairs, both y values are -18. So my equation is y equals -18. So if you look at the pattern, you honestly don't even need to find your slope anymore. Every single problem. What's happening is, if we look at our ordered pairs, if you notice that either the x values are the same or the y values are the same, that's how you're going to write your equation. So in this specific example, D, I notice that both x values are 0. Since both x values are 0, that means my equation is going to be x equals 0, which means this is going to be a vertical line. So it will be a vertical line because it's x equals a number. If we look at E, in example E, if we look at our ordered pairs, we notice that both y values are the same. Since both y values are the same, that means our equation is going to be y equals whatever our y value is. So our equation is y equals -17. Which does mean this is going to be a horizontal line because it is y equals a number, meaning it has a slope of 0. And last but not least, we have example F. If we look at example F, if we look at our ordered pairs, I do not have either number that is the same. So this would not be a horizontal or vertical line. This would actually be a slanted line. It will either be positive or negative depending on what our slope is. So the x values are not the same and the y values are not the same. So if that occurs, then you will not have an equation that is horizontal or vertical.